Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video I am going to talk about the very important topic that is nothing but a client script. Client script in the 90% cases, if you are dealing with the client side code, you will be writing a client script, right? Inside client script, how we will write our code and when it will get executed, we will see in details, right? As of now, in my all up previous video from this series, I have not explained where exactly we are going to write the code, right? For few example, I have used the client script just to showcase you, but the actual client script scripting will start from this video, right? So it's really important to understand means what kind of code client script will accept. So basically it's a javascript code client script will accept, right? So and when it will get, our code will get executed, that is also important, right? So whenever event will occur on the browser, that time our script will get executed. So for that, for each event we have a client script. So we are calling it as a different types of client script, means we have a four types of client script. We'll see in the in this video, but a little bit or later stage. Now you hope you understood client script will get executed on the browser. What code on based on the event occur, our code will get executed. Fine. Now let's understand, guys, that what are the activity we can perform using a client script. So most of the activity we can perform using a client script, but it's not a best practice to write everything in the client script. We have a different other things also to achieve your goal, right? So if you are making a mandatory field, we can do so. Of course, we can do so using a client script, but for that we have a different way to do so, that we will see in upcoming video. But most possible way we can achieve it using a client script, we are going to see over here, right? So first point I have written that we can hide and show a field. So let's say we have a form, we can hide. If we want to hide and show a field, let's say if we want to hide this field, we can do so. If some field we want to show, let's say this one. So if it is coming on this one on hold, then this field is visible. So this is we are making it visible. If it is not on hold, so see this is becoming again that hold region is becoming hide, right? So this kind of activity we can perform using a client side scripting, means in client script. We can make field read only or writable. Make field only readable means this one, writable means this one, means we can allow user to input their data, right? So that also we can achieve using a client script. How and what kind of code we have to write, that we will see in upcoming videos also. Set the field value. Set the field value means dynamically we can set the value using a set value. I have already explained in my previous video, that means using a set value method we can set the field values. So that method can be used in your client script. Get the value. If we want to get the value, let's say logged in user, sorry, assigned to field value we want to get, then we can get the value as well from the field. Modify the option value. Option value means a choice value. If we want to modify it while loading the form, while changing the form, while changing let's say if we want self service, then what could be the state, what could be the impact. If some kind of conditional activity, if we want to do for the drop down option, we can do so. We can display the message based on the field value also. Let's say we want to display a message inside over here, right? So we can display a message over here also. Or if certain condition match, then we want to display a message over here also, we can display based on the field. Alert message I have already explained to you in the previous video. That means we can put our alert to check our code. Sometime we are expecting some value that has function should return, but that is not returning. On that case, for the troubleshooting, we can use this alert method to alert that value. call server side script, we can make a call from client side to server side, so we can do that kind of activity as well. And the last but not the least, this is the form validation. Form validation means we have to make sure, while let's say if I'm resolving this ticket, then we have to make sure the all the whatever the mandatory field are required while resolving the ticket, user has given the input. If not, then we can alert the message, that means these are the mandatory field, and we can avoid the action also. We will not save the form or update the form. Fine. So this was all about the client script basic overview, guys. That means what we can perform, what kind of code client script will accept. And active main thing was activity, what are the activity we can perform in the client side. Hope it is clear to you. And the thing is, client script has also some limitations, right? So it won't work on your ServiceNow mobile application. If you are writing a client side client script, then it won't execute for your ServiceNow mobile applications. So this is the kind of limitation from the ServiceNow end. Everything has some limitation at some extent, right? So this is the limitation I can say. We your client script will not work for the ServiceNow mobile application. Fine. So in next, let's understand how we can create a new client script. Okay, so it's very similar, like very easy to create a client script. And here is the thing. So let's say you just need to, first step what you have to do, navigate to system definition and client script. So just let me go over here, and this is called a left navigation, guys. So here I'm just writing a client script. So under the system definition, we can find the client script. You just click it over here, and this will give you the list of all the client script in this system, on in this instance, I can say. Fine. So here you have a new option. The second step is that click on the new button. So here we have a new option, right? So here we can use this new button to create a new client script, right? So if I will click over here, it will present with a new form. I have just clicked it, as you can see here. Right now it is loading. So this is the client script form it's look like. Okay, don't worry, guys, and then fill all the required details and click on the submit, right? So this is something, don't worry, I will explain each and every attribute details over here, which will help you to understand how we can write a client script. So first thing, you have to specify the name, means what is the purpose for this client script. Let's say we are writing this client script for hide and show the fields. Okay, this is the common client script I'm just writing over here. Then I have to select on which table, because in service now we have a many tables. So on which table you are going to apply this client script. So let's say I want to apply this client script on the incident table. So I will be typing a incident over here, right? So this is the one I have selected, the incident. And then UI type, desktop, mobile, service portal, or all. So basically a service portal, as I said, like it won't work for the your mobile, but it will work for the service portal. So if you want to apply a client script only for the service portal, then you just choose this one. If you want to apply for the desktop, means it will work for the desktop view. And if you want to apply for both, then select the both one, right? So by default it would be a desktop. If you have not applied same thing on the service portal, you do not want to apply the same mm, logic on the portal also, then you just select the UI type is equal to desktop. Now this one here is the application. So this is indicating us, that means this client script which we are creating under the global application. There might be a chance that you will be creating some other application in the scoped application, and you have created your own application under that. If you are creating, so that application will be visible over here. Active means here this active indicate that means this client is active. Any point of time, if you want to make it inactive, that means your logic you do not want to execute, then you just make it inactive. Inheritance, basically this is a inherited concept is there. Means let's say if you are creating a client script on the task table, and the task table has incident has inherited the task table, right? Incident has inherited change, problem, and task others tables has inherited the task table. So if you are creating a um, client escape on the task table, and you have marked this checkbox as a checked, then this will apply on your all sub tasks, all sub child tables also, which you have inherited, right? So yeah, that is inherited means that purpose. You have to very careful over here while checking this checkbox, because whatever the table you will inherit it, that will apply on your child table also. Global indicate, basically let me just showcase you global indicate. This is related to your view. We have a different view on the form. If you are dealing with the multiple view, then definitely you have to specify whether this client script is going to apply on the particular view or not. Let's say you are going to apply on the manager view, so you just write a manager view over here. So this client script will only work for the manager view. If you want to apply this for all view, then you just let it be selected. This is the default one, so just let it be selected over here, right? And this one type, it says there is a four type of basically this is a four type of event, I can say. Four types of client scripts are there: on cell edit, on change, on load, and on submit. I will be explaining you each and every type of client script in details in upcoming video. But for time being, you have to select what kind of on which event you want to execute this client script. So let's say I want to execute on onload event. So I have selected the type is equal to onload. Fine. Description, I'll suggest like what is the purpose for this client script in the this field has some limitation, right? If you are typing like this, see now it is not accepting. So this field has some limitation of the character, so you cannot enter your well defined means of what is the purpose for this client script. So for that you have a field called description. You can just type it over here, and you can get it will clearly tell you that what is the purpose for this client script. Message, this is the very important one, guys. So if you want to display a message, that means this will have a kind of line by line message. Read, let's say you are writing a message first message, and the second message. So this message, what system will do for you, that means it will look for your table called I have mentioned the table name over here somewhere, right? So okay, so yeah, so this table message table it will look for. Let me just open it for you over here, and message table dot list I'm doing. So this will look for over here in this table based on this keyword. So first message, it will become your keyword. Okay, so using this keyword, by default system will look for you if any keyword related to this there is a message or not. So let's say this is the keyword I have. For example, I have just written, I'm just opening it, my first message. In my first message, this is the key. Same thing I'm going to write over here. So it will look for this keyword against the value, right? So this if you are writing at this keyword, it will give you the this value. But how you will get this value in the script, you just write a get message, right? So I'm just writing here my first message, and against that keyword I have written this value also, right? Message. So if I will do get message inside this, I will be just using this one. Fine. So here, this is the one. This is, let me copy this one. get my first message, right? Fine. So this is the way we can get it, and yeah, a message field. Basically, you can write a multiple message over here, and you will get it. So it will read. Keyword will be a sorry guys, line by line. So maybe you will be writing like your second message also, blah blah blah, something like that. It will read one by one. Fine. So how you will get it? So for getting, yeah, I'm just putting a alert so that it will come in the pop-up message. This message I'm expecting, and I'm just going to save this. I hope it is clear, guys. So and yeah, last but not the least, this is the field where we will be writing our code over here, right? Fine. So for same example, I have just written this code, and same thing, guys. I have explained it over here also in the message. Definitely, you will get this document at the servicenowhelpdesk.com. That is my blog site. So definitely, I'll be um, making this available over there. Fine. So let's test this, guys. So I have just saved this, and this heading I have just given for hide and so, but I'm not doing that activity over here. So this will alert it, right? So when form will load, so if I will reload this form, then one pop-up message should come, right? Stating that hello user, this is your first message, right? And same message I have written over here, correct? Hope it is clear to you guys, and yeah, this is the way you can write your client script. And but other way, like this is the one way I have showed you to how to write a client script, but on which table you want to write a client script. Let's say I want to create a client script on this form, right, on this client incident form. So what I will be doing, instead of going here and client is typing a client script, I'll be coming directly on the form over here, right click and go. I will be going to configure, and here in the under the configure we have a client script. I'll be clicking a client script over here. It will also go to the client script table itself. So from here, yeah, also we can directly create it. The benefit from here, it would be that once you will click a new, then by default your table will get selected because you are already coming from the incident table, right? So that way you can do it from the list view also, same way, similar ways. This is the list view. You just do the right click, configure, and where is the client script? This is. So from here also it will be presented with the your client script table. You can write it. Fine, guys. In the next video, we will see. I think I have already explained you regarding all these steps, and then in the next video, we will see in details as I explained that each and every type of client script with the real time scenario. Okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. It's really motivate me to make a video on the different topics. And if you would like to if you would like to make me to video on the different topic, then please let me know. Using you have a Telegram channel, you can there also you can post, and you can directly write a email to me also. Right? Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about Onload client script. In previous video, I have explained you that how we can create a client script. Even I have explained you each and every attribute which been used in client script, right? So if you have not watched my previous video, it's recommended to go and watch that first before watching this video, right? So in this video, we will understand when and how we can use a onload client script, right? Before starting this video, guys, it's my humble request that please, if you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. It's really motivate me to make a video on the different topics. And if you want me to make a video on any other topic, you can email me, you can WhatsApp me, you can Telegram me. They are everywhere. However you want to reach out to me, you can just ping me. I'll be making a video on those topic. Fine. Thank you. Now let's start. In this video, let's first understand when and how we can use a onload client script, right? So first statement which I have written, guys, that this client script will execute once form are loaded. So if you try to understand this diagram which I have written over here, that first you are in let's say if you are in front of the system and you have click on any module, right? So let's say you have click on the incident. So the moment you will click on the incident, what it will does, it will make a request to server to bring a data, right? Then on which condition and where your form will get loaded, right? And when your onload client script will get executed. So if you can see the very first diagram here, you will be placing a request that, hey system, please give me the incident data, incident record of that particular uh, one record, basically not for bulk of record, not for list view. And as I have explained in my previous video that all three except on cell edit client script, all three will execute on the form. So if you are requesting a data for a particular record, then it will get executed on the form, right? So first you are making a request over here that you are looking for a data in the details, right? Now what server this system does, it will make a request over here, that will be a second call. Okay, so here it will be a that it will not make a second call, but I'm just trying to explain that how it will execute and how data will get presented in front of you. So first it will make a call to server, and in the second diagram here, it will try to connect with a database. Okay, so in this database, here it will make a request, and data will start populating on the form. Once data start populating on the form, in the third sequence, you will get a data populated from the database. You will be having a data in front of you. Now in this case, once the data get loaded, sorry guys, once the data get loaded on the form, then your onload client script will get executed, and a return control will return back to your screen over here. So I hope you are clear. If your onload client script will not get executed until and unless server data will not get populated on the form. So if something, if you are trying to do so before data loaded on the form, then it will give you the weird behavior. So make sure that means onload client script will execute once data will come from server, and it will populated on the form. I hope it is clear, guys. So onload client script work on that condition. Now let's talk about, as you know, in my all videos, I'll be talking about the real world scenario, that how we can execute our this onload client script. So in this case also, I have taken one real world scenario, and basically a live scenario, I can say. So the requirement over here is that hide a closed incident, a state, and a state form from everyone except user who is having a ITL admin role. So basically, we have a one field called a state, right? So let me jump into the here. So let me navigate to incident, so that you will be having a better visibility what I'm trying to say over here, right? So it is saying that we have a option for the state called close. So it should not be visible for every users. This one I'm talking about, this one, it should not be visible for everyone except the ITL admin role. Right. So only what we are trying to achieve from this requirement is that if you are having a ITL admin role, then only you can close the ticket. Else, no one having a rights to do so. Admin is a exceptional, right? So in this case, how we can do so, right? So this is the code which I have written, that here in onload client script. Basically in this scenario, what we will be doing, we will be writing a onload client script on this table, so that whenever phone gets loaded, we will be making sure that means this option, close option, is not visible if you are not having a ITL admin role, right? We'll see with the practical example. Now what I've done, guys, I have already written to save our time, so that I'll be getting a time to explain code in details, right? So I have already written what I have done that this is the name which I have given, that hide close state except ITL admin, something nomenclature you have to give based on your understanding, right? The table I have selected the on incident, and the UI type I have selected the desktop, right? And as you can see here, type I have selected onload. It means in this script, client script is called a onload client script. I'm not writing any message description. You know that if you want to, as once you'll do your actual development on that time, it's a good practice to write a description. That means what this client script does, because this name field have some limitation. I think around 150 characters. So more than that you cannot write. To explain better, you can use a description field to make sure that means what this client script is doing, right? Fine. Now let's understand one by one line code, right? So here the first thing by default which will get appear before writing it, this is the piece of code which I have written, guys. But the moment you will select the onload client script, this function by default get populated for you, right? This is the way to write a function in ServiceNow, right? If you have used any other technology, there might be a syntax different, but if you are using a ServiceNow, you have to follow this structure. First you have to write a function. This is a function keyword. You cannot make a variable. I have already made a one video, that means what are the keyword reserved keywords are there, right? So yeah, so yeah, here I'm not going to explain those. If you have not watched that, then from this series only I have explained those. Fine. So this is the way we can write, and here you can give your function name, whatever the function name you want to give. But in this case, onload would be the name. You should not change it. Predefined function, this is the out of the box function, I can say. If you are defining your own function, on that case, whatever the name you want to give, you can give it, right? So now here what first line of code I have written, that this line of piece of code, what it is doing, that it is checking g underscore user has role, ITL admin role. So here we are checking whether the logged in user have ITL role or not, ITL admin role or not. So as I explained you, that means what are the object available. So in order to get the logged in user information, which object we will be using, g underscore user, right? I have already explained you my previous video. If you will put dot, then it will give you the bunch of options that we can do. So like if you want to get the first name, this is all related to your logged in user. Okay, so these all it will give you the help also. That means what this function does. If indicates function, and s indicate your field name, basically. Fine. So here hash roles is also there, hash role is also there. So if you will type, if I'm using this one, right? So if you are doing one checking one role checking, then you just go with the hash role. If you are checking multiple one, you can use a hash roles, this one, right? So depend upon the scenario, like it's a self-explanatory functions are there. If you'll scroll over here, this will give you the details about what this function does, right? Return the first name and the last name of the current user. So this all is self-explanatory, right? So now let's not focus on this. Now let's move over here, that here if condition I have written, you know that this will give me a true or false, right? So if it is a true, then what it will does, it will return, it will not allow to execute this piece of code, right? It means that. So here I have written the if logged in user has the ITL admin role. So this line of code, it will check that. Fine. So you know that if and else condition, if it is true, then it will return, means it will no longer this code will get executed. If not, let's say logged in user doesn't have the this role, so what it will does, it will not execute return a statement. So it will start execute the remaining piece of code in this function, right? So in this function, what I'm doing, I'm just checking g underscore form dot get value, and under this I'm passing a state. You know that, like to get the value, which function we should be using, get value, right? And this is again the second method is there, g underscore form not method. This is the object which is available at the client side, very popular one, and this is having a bunch of methods and function, basically I can say. So yeah, all these functions it is available, and you, I'm not going to explain you each and every one, but yeah, whatever the most common we will be using, definitely I'll be explaining those, right? And if you'll go over here, you just select it, then it will give you the overview, that means what this function is doing, right? So in this case, one by one, once we will be using, we have another client script, like all three, four clients script I'll be explaining you in details. So if I will covering others one, then definitely I'll be explaining others method which will be used for the g underscore form object, right? So here in this piece of code, it will give the state value, whatever the state value, it will get selected over. Let's say new is there, then it will give the value of new. Means what, this is the display value, but the it will give you the new value. Means new value means like internal value, whatever it is maintained in the database. This new is not going to maintain in the database, right? So how we can check that, means what value we will be getting. So as you can see here, what I did, guys, just right click, do the inspect element, and select this one. This is my best way to do so, and here I'm selecting, so it will give, point me to the exact this one, a state field. And here we can check for new, we have a value, internal value 1. For in progress we have 2. For on hold we have 3, like that. So this 1 2 3 6 7 8, these value will get stored into database, but for display it will get displayed like this, right? So this value, it if it is not equal to 7, so 7 was what, sorry, let me do it again. So 7 was what, 7 is the close one, as you can see here, right? So 7 is close, so we are going to check whether the g underscore form dot g underscore form dot get value underscore not equal to 7, right? So let's check what I'm going to do. I'm going to put alert, so that we will, while testing, we will come to know what value we are getting, right? So in this alert, I'm just putting this one. Fine. So here not equal to 7, it will check whether it is closed or not. If it is 7 is not there, then what we are doing, we are just removing this 7, right? So internal value we have to define, basically. So 7, you are going to remove, means from which dictionary field. So in this case, first we have to donate, sorry, indicate this one as state, and then you have to give the option value, right? So this is also a predefined function, g underscore form dot, if you will type here, remove option is there, right? So this will accept first field name. First state is the field name, and the second is the your choice value, internal choice value. Make sure that, means if you are not giving the internal choice value, it won't work. Fine. So I'm just going to save this, right? Now what I'm going to do, once it will get saved, I'm going to just reload this form, so that we will come to know what value we are getting, right? Although it is on the new state, so let's see what value we will be getting. Oh, it didn't work. Alert is there. Fine. Let's check for some this one. Any existing value? Okay. Oh, something weird it is there. If you will say, let me check onload client script js.has role. I'm just going to remove this one. Maybe because of that, it would be fine. Let me check. That is the troubleshooting we have to do it, guys, right? If it is not working, then definitely you have to do your troubleshooting. Why this? If, although you have written the code properly, but it is not working for you. In this case also it is not working. Okay, so now I have to check properly that why this code is not working. Remove option g underscore form dot get value not equal to 7. It seems proper only. Incident desktop onload. Okay. 1 second, guys. G underscore user dot has role. Okay. And yeah, this is the same function we have used it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just impersonate it over here, right? So impersonation means I'm going to use the this user is having a ITL admin role and this is the ITL user. So I'm just going to go with the ITL users. Let me see whether for this user it is visible or not. So incident, let me just do it in progress, and I'm going to just select some value over here. Fine, and I'm just going to save this. Fine, and we are going to check now. See it right now it is not there, so it means it is working, right? Here close state it is not visible for this ITL users. And now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to impersonate with this one user who is having a ITL admin role. So first let's select sorry, first let's check which user. For this user I have given the ITL admin role. Okay, so let's cross validate whether this user is having ITL admin role or not. So I'm just going to click edit role. As you can see here, ITL admin role is having this users, right? Now let's impersonate with this ITL admin role user. Instance is working little bit slow, guys. So here I have impersonated. So for this user, this close state should be visible. For if I will refresh it, it should be visible, right? That is our objective. As you can see here, now it is visible for them. Means for the person who is having ITL admin role, it is working for them, right? Hope you guys understood. And I don't know why that alert was not working. It's supposed to work because we have written the code properly, right? Over here. So this is the piece of code, guys. I think you got it now, right? That how and when onload client script we will be using it, right? In next video, guys, I'll be talking about the Onchange client script, which is a very again important one. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about Onchange client script in details. But before that, guys, if you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. It's really motivate me to make a video on the different topics. Thank you. So let's start now, guys. So first, let's try to understand when and how we can apply Onchange client script, right? That is a very important to understand. If you will not understand that how and when we can apply, there are other three types of client scripts are there. Which one you will choose, right? So it's better to understand. So now let's understand the on-change client script using this diagram. So in this diagram, first thing which I have written, guys, that you will be making a request, right? You are here, you are the users, right? So he will be making a request that on any particular field, as name suggests, like on change. If you are making any change on the form, then what it will happen, on change client script will get executed. The moment you will select the on change, then it will ask you on which field you want to execute this on change client script, right? On the event occur on the on change client script, the second figure you are seeing over here, that will get executed. Your client script will get executed. It's a little bit different from the onload client script. Onload client script will get executed while form loading, but the onchange client script will get executed when you are doing some changes on the form manually, right? And manually, or maybe through the script, if you are doing it, then it will directly impact on your database. But if you are doing on the form, then it will on change client script will get executed. But make sure that means sometime interviewer will ask you if we are doing any modification via the script. On that case, whether your on change client or any client script will get executed or not, the answer is no. Fine. Now let's move on, guys. So here, let's understand some parameter which we will be using. That means by default, ServiceNow provide that object. So there are four types of object they will provide. That first one is the control, second one is the old value or new value, is loading, and template is template. And the five out of the box object ServiceNow provides. So let's jump into the over here, and we'll see on all those five. I'm just going to open anyone. So this is the one for this demo. I have made it on change client script. So let's see what are all the out of the box object by default service now providing. So I'm talking about these all five objects: control, old value, new value, is loading, and template. It's really really important to understand when and what is the purpose of this, right? If you will not understand that what is the meaning of old value, control, new value, then definitely you will be not using this out of the box predefined objects, right? Sometime interview will ask you what are the predefined objects available in on-change client script, and please explain me what are the benefit for those objects which is available on just client script, right? So here I'm going to explain you guys. So let's jump to the over here. That first one is the control. This is the object which will be available on the on-change client script. So basically DHTML, don't worry guys, I'm talking about little bit apart from ServiceNow. DHTML means dynamic hypertext markup language. If you know HTML, it is a similar kind of DHTML. Is there all the syntax would be same, right? So if we are seeing the front end, means it has to be designed from the HTML, right, or DHTML. So that's how it is related to DHTML, related to control, because the event, whenever event will occur, that control object will get executed. Okay, so what are the benefit we will be getting from this control object? So let's understand one by one. Control parameter are generally used for if we want to change dynamic field size. Let's say if you have written on change on any field, let's say you have written on change on the state value, and on that case you want to manage some you want to highlight some value on that case. So on that condition, we can use the control object to highlight that value, right? We can resize that value, we can make it bigger, we can make it a smaller. All these kind of activity we can perform. Means why I have written the DHTML, because control object will be get used using your this one HTML or CSS concept, right? So if you know, if you want to apply the style, then definitely you have to know the little bit CSS. If you want to make it a little bit shorter length, then you have to make sure that means how much, how you are going to make that. So for that knowledge, you have to get the knowledge of the JavaScript and HTML, something a little bit, if you want to really use the control field. Most of the time people are not using this one. Okay, so that's why it is not so popular. But yeah, if you want to use it as per the best practice, then definitely you have to know all those. The second benefit we will be getting, that it's basically the field for which the client script is written. Okay, so as I said, like whenever control this will be the actual field on the client script will be written. Let's say if you are selecting let me jump over here. So here I'm selecting on change client script over here, right? So the field and the control will act on this, right, in this one. So this is the actual field we will be acting on, and we will be making a on the state field we will be making a this one shorter, higher, and applying a stylish, right? So same thing again, I have written that the name object field name whose value just change, means if it is just change, then a control object can be used over here, right? And to make a changes, how we can make a changes using a control object, we'll see with the practical example, of course. But this is how we can, if you, let's say if you want to make a blue color of this state value, whatever the value on change value, then we just simply need to write a control dot a style dot color. I'm just changing the value as a blue. So that we will see with the practical example. Now my main objective was to make you understand that what is the use of control and how we can use this object, right? But this control object have some limitation, guys, that it won't work on your mobile and service portal view. So here I have written that, so control is not accessible in mobile and service portal, so it won't work. If you have applied something related to control, that you have to make sure that means the same form is not getting been used in your mobile or in your service portal. If it is been used, try to avoid using the control object. Fine. Now let's move to the next after the box object, that is the old value. Old value, it means indicate, that means if you are changing the value, then what was the previous value. So let's understand with one example. Let's say if the value of assigned to, so this is the example we have taken, guys. If the value of assigned to changes from Runjay to Suman, the value of the parameter old value is Runjay, right? So we are changing value from Runjay to Suman. So what is the old value you will be getting? If you will alert the old value, then you will be getting a old value as a Runjay, because this was the old value and this is the new value. Same apply with the new value, right? So just opposite to old value. So if you have changed the value from x to y, then your y will be a new value and x will be your old value, right? Same example here I have given. So in this case, new value will be Suman if you are changing from Runjay to Suman, then, right? Now the this one each loading, it will tell you that of if you want to perform some manipulation while loading the form also. As we know that as we come to know, that means on-change client script will not get executed while loading the form, right? It will only get executed while changing the field value. Now let's suppose we have a scenario where we want to check, that means while loading the form also we have to change it, but if value is getting changed on that scenario also, we have to use the same function. So this is loading, it will give you a true or false value, basically, that whether it while loading the form you want to execute something, or if you don't want to execute, that means how you will come to know, because onload, we are not writing a onload client script, right? We are writing a onchange client script, but we want to write some logic while loading the form, same logic whatever we have written for the on chain. So on that case, we have to check each form loading is equal to true, then we will execute our code, right? So here I have written the boolean value indicate whether the change is occurring as a part of form load or not. So this will give you that while if you want to apply some logic while loading the form, each loading parameter you have to use to check, and you have to write your based on logic. Don't worry, we will see this because this is the very important one, guys. Most of the interviewer question will ask you, if they will ask the on change client script, whether on change client script will get execute while loading the form or not. The make sure that you have to say yes, it will execute while loading the form also, but we have to do some check. Each loading is the parameter, we have to check it. If we want to load our code, then we have to write a code inside of the each loading while checking, right? We'll see that how we can do so. each template is very rare in used, but in some point of time you will feel that okay, we if we have certain scenario that if template is getting applied on the form, on that case you have to do some kind of extra activity. Then you have to make sure, that means how you will check that whether the this data has been filled, whether it has been filled by the user or it has been filled by the templates. So for that we have one parameter called is template, right, which will give you, if it is template has been applied on your form, then it will give you the true, else it will give you the false. Fine. Hope you understood. So this was the very very important one to understand all the five predefined object available in Onchange client script. Fine. Cool. Now let's move on to our practical scenario, that where we will do our actual coding and we will try to understand how our actual coding works, right? So let's say here is the requirement. This is a very common requirement. If you are working on the ITSM module, then definitely this functionality you have to do it. So this is the very common one. So what I have written, that make assignment group and assign to field mandatory if a state changes from new to in progress. So if a state a change from a new to in progress, on that case we have to make two field as a mandatory assignment group and assign to. This is the logic I have written, guys, and same logic I have already written over here also, as you can see here, right? Make field mandatory, as this is a limited number of character it will accept, so that I have written over here, make assignment group and assign to field mandatory, right, while on changing the form. Fine. So now it's time to understand the code. That means how code is working. So first let's understand this one, guys. Your onload client script, right? Each loading. Each loading means if we want to execute our code while loading the form, then as I said, like it will give you the true or false value. If you will alert it also, it will give you true and false value. So here is the checks, guys. So in the third row, as you can see here, in this we have kept it as a easy loading. Just forget about this one. If I will remove it also, then it will give the true if it will give while loading the form, else it will give the false, right? So if you want to execute your code, so if you are not writing this line of code, by default your code will get executed on Onchange client script. This client script will never get executed while loading the form if you will remove this piece of code. If you want to execute, then what you have to do, so if you want to execute, what you have to do, here we have a return a statement. What we can do, we can just simply comment it out, right? So it while loading the form, it what it will does, it will not return, so that our rest of the code will also get executed. Simple as that. Return a statement, in my previous videos also I have explained, that means if this will get executed, then the rest of the code will not get executed, right? So first let's understand, let it be this code, because this is the out of the box code. Once you'll select over here on change, then by default this piece of code it will appear for you by default, and the extra piece of code which I have written, that is this one. Fine. So let's understand, that means how this code is working. So let me explain you one by one over here. So new value. So as you know over here, new value, it will give the new value while changing the form. New value is equal to true. Sorry, two. Two means what? Let's check what is two over here. So I'm just opening it over here, and 2 means basically in progress. I have already cross verify, but in front of you I want to cross verify over here. As you can see right here, 2 is there, right? So 2 means in progress. So what I have code written, that new value is equal to true, equal to true means if it is while changing the value over here, if it is in progress, then it will execute our code over here in this line of code, because to a statement is there, so we have to write under the curly braces. Else what we have to do, this piece of code will get executed. What this code is doing here, we are telling that here g underscore form dot set mandatory. Mandatory means it will become a mandatory field. That is our requirement, right? It will put the a star marking over here. So set mandatory true. If you are applying a true, that means it will make a mandatory. If you are applying a false with the same function, then it will make a non-mandatory. You have to remember this. If set mandatory, if you are passing this one second parameter as a true, it will make you that field mandatory, whatever the field name you are specifying over here. Else, if you are providing a false, then it will make you that field as a non-mandatory. Fine. So let's check it this, guys. So if I will reload this form over here, then what as of now, as you can see here, right now these two field is not mandatory, right? So if and on change client I have written on this state field. Just let cross verify again here, this one, right? A state. So if I will change from new to in progress, the condition is also we have given, right? New to in progress. So if it is new over here, so in progress we are making, as you can see here, right now it's becoming a mandatory. So it will not allow you to save the form. So if we are changing something else, then it will not make a mandatory field, right? So once it will be in progress, what it doesn't matter from where it is coming. If you are in progress a state of your incident, then it should, these two fields has to be mandatory, right? Now then here this condition is working, but this condition is working, but what if form is getting loaded? Let me just uh, tell you one scenario over here. And now I'm going to talk about this one, because this is not working on while loading the form. So let's say this is in progress, right? Let me open this incident. Okay, this, as you can see here, a state is in progress, but as you can see here, these two field is not mandatory, right? If I will remove this, then I will save it. Although it is in work in progress, a state is in progress, this field is not mandatory, because our script which we have written on change script, which is not in working while loading the form. If you will change it, then it will work, but if you will onload it, reload it, it won't work. So on that case, what we have to do, either you just remove this all three lines of code, okay, else you just comment the return statement. Okay, now let me save this form. Fine, I have just saved this form, and now I'm just going to reload this form. This time it should make these two field as a mandatory field, because this time our Onchange client script is going to execute while loading the form also. Now I hope you got the onload concept over here. That means how Onchange client script will also work while loading the form. Got it, guys? Fine. So old value, new value, as you know already, that means this is a very common one. Old and new value it will give you. Each loading is also a very common one. That's why I have explained you over here. Let me explain you about the control and each template. So I have written something over here. I'm just going to remove that, uncomment this piece of code over here. So what I have done over here, guys, that control dot style dot color, I'm just going to apply over here whatever the value is there on this value. I'm just going to make it blue. Okay, so how can I do so? So if I will just uncomment it, this is the styling I'm going to apply here. The color I'm going to put the blue color. So if I will save this, then what it will happen, while loading the form also, the value of a state will become a blue color, right? So let's see the effect over here, right? As you can see here, it's become a blue, right? All the field value become I have just given the example. If you want to make it little bit short, if you want to stretch it, if you want to accept only on certain condition, if you want to accept only let's say 50 character, or for the input field, all those based on your scenario, you have to apply the logic, right? And this one, okay, fine, I'm just going to do a lot also over here. So as of now, I'm not going to give you the logic on which logic, because I have not come such scenario, but how we can test whether the template has been applied on the form or not. So I'm just going to alert it. It will give a true or false result. If it is applied, then it will give a true. If it is not applied, then it will give a false result. Okay. So now I have just enabled this one alert option. So if I will reload this form, this time it should alert something true or false, right? So as you can see here, false it is coming, right? Means as of now the template is not applied on this form, right? So how we can apply a template? So as you can see here three dots are there. You can just do a toggle bar. Okay, just click on the toggle bar. Here template will appear by default. If you want to add it, you can create a new template over here while clicking. Give the template name and the fill your details, like whatever the details you want to fill in, right? Template is something means predefined. Here all the incident related field will come, right? Whatever the default value you want to apply, it will get applied over here. As you can see here, this field is getting applied. So for this one, I have already created one template, template 2. This is the name I have given. So let's say if I will do, if I will click over here, then let's see what it will happen. See, it is coming a true. It means now this template has been applied. So if you can see here, template applied, right? So if you see the details, what are the value we have set it, right? Here we can see category as a inquiry and help. Let's see, this is the value we have applied through the template, right? It is coming category as a inquiry slash help, channel self services, right? All these things. I hope you got the concept. That means if we want to check the template whether it is applied or not, we can use the each template something predefined object, right? Hope you guys clear, because the client script is the very important one. Interviewer definitely will ask you the difference between all types of client script, that will ask you. But I'm going to cover two more client script. I have already covered this one, uh, Onload, and the second in this video I have explained you Onchange. So two more is there, on submit and on sell edit. All are important one only, but the Onchange and Onload will be used most commonly basis. So they will ask you the what is the difference between this. And the main important question from this Onchange client script is that whether we can execute Onchange client script while loading the form or not. The answer is again say yes, we can use so, but we have to remove the return statement from each loading, right? Thank you, thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. Thank you. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'll be talking about Onsubmit client script in details. In previous couple of video, we have seen that how onload, Onchange client script work, right? And in upcoming video definitely I'll be covering on cell edit, but in this video I'll be talking about on submit client script. I hope you guys are getting things that whatever I'm trying to explain. If not, you know that where you can reach out to me. You can join my telegram channel ServiceNow help desk, and there you can post your query. You can write an email also. You will get my email id on servicenowhelpdesk.com, and that is my blogger site, right? So however you want to reach, I'm there on Instagram as well. You can follow me there. You can directly chat with me over there also, right? Before starting, guys, it's my humble request that if you are watching this and if you liked my video, then definitely I'll be requesting you to please subscribe and the video, right? So that it will help me and it will motivate me to make a video on the different topics. I hope you understood, guys. Fine. So before, without wasting our time, let's jump and we'll understand how on submit client script work and when we can use it. Basically, this on submit client script we will be using for to make sure that user has given the perfect data and whatever required data we are asking from the end user, they have already filled. If not, then although we have many way to do make a mandatory field on the form, but before final go for the server side, right? Because before making a server call, we have to make sure and we have to ensure that user has given the required data, right? So it makes sense that okay, we are now going to make a server call so that it will not mm, break something in the backend. If it is breaking because in the server level also we will do a form validation, that will become a data policy, right? But we don't want to go on that case. After making a server call, we will come to know, hey, user has not given such data that was mandatory, right? So on such, to avoid such scenario, on submit client script will come into the picture. So basically in this on submit client script, what we can perform, that we can typically will do the field form validation basically, right? So form validation or field validation, I can say both we can perform. Now it's we have to understand when it will get executed. As of now we have understood that onload client script will get executed while loading the form. Onchange client script will get executed while changing some attribute value, or as well as the while loading the form. But when on submit client script will get executed, so it will get executed while submitting the form. So whenever event occur, like if you are clicking on the save, if you are clicking on the update, if you are clicking on the submit, so if you are making a call, if you are trying to make a server call, basically whenever you are clicking on the UI action, I mean to say a button. So let's say if you are creating a new incident and you will be clicking on the save or update, save or submit, right? So basically you are trying to say that means, hey, please save this data into our database, right? Somewhere it has to store. So basically in if you are making sure, that means your okay, data has to go and sit into a database. On that case you have to make a server call, and on that case on submit client a script will come into the picture. Before making a call, we have to ensure that you have given the proper data. Hope you understood on submit client script, right? So it doesn't have any predefined object available, like we have seen in our previous video on change client script video, right? We have five out of the box object available in on change client script, but here on submit no out of the box objects are available. But yes, of course, whatever the client side predefined objects are available, like g underscore form, g underscore user, that API is already available. Okay, fine. So now let's understand the same thing. Here I have explained you guys that first you will be making a request to save the data, right? And in the second call here, your submit on submit client script will get executed to make sure, that means you have filled all the proper data before reaching out to a database, right here. So here it will come into the picture on submit client script. Hope you got it now, right? Now let's understand some scenario where you can use a on submit client script with the practical example. So the scenario which I have taken, guys, that if ITL fulfiller try to cancel the ticket, incident ticket, then make sure user should fill the cancel region field. If they have not filled, then display error message stating cancel region field is mandatory. Something based on your like information, what information you want to populate, or you can populate it, right? So this is our requirement, right? So whenever ticket, it doesn't matter from where it is going. If your user is clicking trying to make that incident as a cancelled, then we have to make sure that cancel region field is mandatory and user has filled the value, right? So there are piece of code which is required to do so. So let's jump to the our practical scenario. This is the code I'll be using to do this activity to achieve this requirement. Fine. So to save our time, as usual, I have already written a on submit client script over here. As you can see here, type is on submit, right? And now here name on submit for form validation. I have given the name, and here as you can see here type which I have given, that is a on submit, right? Now the moment you select the on submit, this as I said like predefine, this will be auto populated right for you, and the logic inside the function we have to write it down, right? Let me just reload this so that this missing extra space should not give the error, right? Now fine, now let's understand that each line of code which I have written in detail. So before that guys, on let me open the incident form so that I can showcase you, not new one, anyone. Let me open this first one, and here what first thing I have done that this way you will not get out of the box this cancel region. So I have created it. So as you can see here, u underscore cancel underscore region, this is the field I have created, the input field, right? By default it is not mandatory, as you can see here, right? So that field you have to create it. How you can create it, I have already explained. Go to right click and go to dictionary, that I have already explained in my minis video for the how we can create a dictionary table. If you have a little bit doubt on that, please go and watch my this basic video of service now. Now here now let's come over here, right? So first thing which I'm checking, that a state is equal to 8. So get value, I have already explained what this function does, that it will give you the value which is selected on the state field, right? This function will be used for the get the value, as the name suggests. So 8 is basically a cancel. Let me just cross verify it. If I will just right click over here, and if I will do here expand this field, then here as you can see here, right, 8 is the cancelled one, right? Internal value it is there. So we are checking if a state is 8, it means some user has selected the a state as cancelled, and this is the AND operator I have given. Yeah, it will work right this way. And if get value u underscore cancel underscore region, and this is again I'm trying to fetch the value from this field. If it is empty, then what we are trying to do, we are trying to execute this piece of code, right? So if this will give us the true result, it means if cancel is selected and this region is empty, then we have to make sure that means user has to fill our cancel region, right? So this both will execute with the AND operator, means if anyone it will get failed, it won't execute this piece of code, because we don't want to execute. That's why we have written a logic like this with the AND operator, right? If you will put the OR operator, then your logic will get it will not work basically, right? Fine, then we are assuming that means someone is trying to cancel the ticket and they have not given the cancel region, right? So first thing which we are doing, that we are populating a message, that g underscore form dot add error message. This will give you the, we'll see that how it will get display the message on the form. So simply we are saying that region field is mandatory something. Okay, this is the message we are trying to pass. And then what we are doing, the second line, next line, what we are doing, g underscore form dot set mandatory. You know that like how it will work. If you are giving a true, then it will make a mandatory, else it will make a non-mandatory, right? And then we know that if they have not, as they have not filled it, although we are passing information, and then we have to stop making a server call, right? So this will uh, this return false will make sure, that means system will not make a server call unnecessary. Okay, so in this condition we have to put return false, so that it will not go and save in the database. If you are not doing, then means there is no use of populating a message and making this as a mandatory field, right? So you have to make sure, that means you are returning as a false, so that it will not make a server call as well. Fine, so let's check this out. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reload this form, and let's say I'm a ITL fulfiller. Means basic ITL fulfiller, I mean to say that the person who basically a support guy, ITL fulfiller, who is having a ITL user. So I'm just going to cancel this one. Okay, as of now, as you can see here, it didn't become a mandatory, because we have not written any onload on change client script while changing the state from any to cancel. It will become a mandatory. So if I will try to update it, so let's say I'm just clicking on the save, or let someone is updating it. So same means basically you are trying to save the data, right? So if I'm just clicking the save, as you can see here, this is the message we are trying to populate, right? Region field is mandatory. This is the message we have written, right? Region field is mandatory, and it will become a mandatory as well. So as you can see here, this will become a mandatory as well. Fine, so that it will not allow user to submit the form. Hope you got it, right? So this is the main important one, guys, that return false you have to make sure, that means you are putting, if this your this piece of code is giving you a true result, it means based on your logic, if you don't want to save the form, right? So let's say if we will deactivate this one, on that case it will allow, right? Fine, so let me just reload this form, and we'll check whether on that case it is giving or not, right? So I'm just reloading the form again, and this time I will try to cancel the ticket. So this time it should not give me any pop-up or something. So it is becoming a mandatory. That is region is not making a mandatory, but the resolution code and resolution resolu- sorry resolution notes, it's becoming a mandatory, right? This is because this is the out of the box functionality ServiceNow has written. Okay, this is not because of our code. Okay, so something I have written, but we have written a logic on the on chain. So I'm just going to save this. It will save it, but it didn't ask that. As you can see here, it by default got closed when we are trying to make the cancel also. Correct. Fine, so I hope you got it about the on submit client script over here, right? And in the next video we will see about on cell edit client script. So this all three will apply on the form, but on cell edit client script which will get apply on the list view. We will see, this is the very different one, I can say, we will be talking about. Thank you guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Runjay Patel. Guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about on-cell edit client script. This client script is basically an exceptional client script which will not get executed on the form. This client script will get executed on the list view. So this is totally different. As of now, whatever the client script we have covered, like all three types of client script which you have covered, like onload, Onchange, and Onsubmit client script. All three client script will get executed on the form, but on cell edit is an exceptional. It won't get executed on the form. It will only get executed on the list view. So let's understand in details, because this is an exceptional client script, how we can use it, and in which scenario this client script will help us to achieve our goal, or complete our requirement, right? So basically this client script will get executed whenever you are editing your cell from the list view. Cell, I mean to say a field basically. So let's say, let's try to understand. We have a incident. This is the list view, right? This is the list view, and if you want to edit over here, you are just double clicking on the field, and you are just doing a edit over here, right? It data is getting saved. So if we want to apply some logic, if someone is trying to change the value from the list view, then based on our logic it should apply the conditions, right? So on that case, on salidate client script will come into the picture. Over there we can achieve such kind of a requirement, right? In on salidate client script, we will get a below parameter or object, I can say, right? The way we have got it for the on change client script, right? So similar way, on salidate also we have a predefined parameter, that is a 5 parameter is there in this on salidate as well. On change as well, if you remember, let me open the on change client script for you. So let's say on change client script, what we are doing, how on change is little bit kind of just opposite, opposite in the sense, I can say similar behavior it is having. So on salidate, as you can see here, it is selecting on change, and here field name you are selecting, right? Similar way, if I will open any on cell edit, so this one is on cell edit. So if you can see here, while writing a on cell edit client script, system will ask you to choose your field, on which field you want to apply. The way we have done it for the on change, similar way it is asking for the on cell edit also. So basically we are checking on field that a state, right? So similar way, while on change and on cell edit, system will ask you to select the field on which you want to apply. The main difference between on change and on cell edit, that on cell edit will get executed on the list view, whereas on change script will get executed on the form view. Got it? Now let's understand this out of the box parameter which we will be getting. So sorry, this is for on change. Let me just close it so that we will not get confused, because in this video we will be talking about the only the on cell edit client script. Right. So these are the 5 parameter which we will be getting by default. Right. So first parameter, it says the sys IDs. Sys IDs means what it will does. So let's say you are trying to this one edit some field like this. You have just selected and you are just doing a double click. So as you can see here, 7 row will be updated. So if you will update it, then by default, let's see, it will get updated with the same value, right? So it will getting apply on the 7. So in this case, if you will alert it, then you will be getting a 7 sys id, because here all the 7 sys id, because all the record have unique sys id, so that sys id will be getting it, right? It has their own benefit. Based on the record you want to apply some changes, all these things you can apply based on your scenario. But here you will be getting a csid in the um, array format, basically comma separated, right? Not comma separated means in the array format you can get 0 1 something that using a indexing. Now the second parameter, that is having a table. So table means which table, the table of the item being edited. So which table here, as you can see here, if you are editing over here, then which table it is getting edited. So that table name it will give you. You will be saying, hey Runjay, I know that incident table we are editing, and then we know that by default incident table we will be getting, right? But let's say you are on the tasks table, right? And task table, from task table you are editing the incident record, right? Because in the task table by default that your record is there. So on that case we have to check, right, which table it is. So on that case we can get the table name. Old value and new value I have already explained in my previous video when I was covering for on-change client escape. So similar way it will apply that old value, this is the old value. If you will change from this to let's say 5, then it this will become a new value. So similar way it will apply. Callback is something this will prevent. If you have watched my previous video on submit, then we will be returning something true or false, right? So if you are returning a false, that means it will not allow you to save the record. Similar kind of concept here also it is there. If you are returning as a true, then it will allow you to commit the record or save the record, and it will allow you to execute other script which if it is running on the form, sorry, if it is running on that table, right? So that concept it is there for the callback. True means it will execute, allow execution for other script, and it will allow you to commit, else it will not allow you to commit the record. Same thing I have written over here, guys, that if true is passed as a parameter, the other script are executed or the change is committed if there are no more script. If false is passed, then just opposite to the true, right? But it has some limitation on salidate. I can say this is having some drawback, I can say. If you are applying this your this one solution using a on salidate client script, then it won't get executed on the list widget or the home page or dashboard. So let's say you have displayed your incident on the dashboard, and if someone is trying to edit from the list view, from there you will be not having a control if you have written a on-sale edit client script. So this solution will be not recommended if you know that this list view can be used on the dashboard or home page or in the form of a widget, list widget. Then you supposed to not write a on-sale edit client script. On that case, I would prefer you that you could write your SEL, read and write permission SEL. You can go for it. Don't worry, guys. We'll be explaining you once I will covering a SEL part in this scripting series, right? But if you are making sure, that means yeah, we are not going to present this list on the widget or somewhere else, then please go ahead and apply your on-sale edit client script. So right now let's assume that we are not going to apply this on the widget as a widget or the dashboard. So we will, in this case we will be writing a on-sale edit client script. So let's jump to our practical scenario. We have one scenario that prevent resolving and closing incident ticket from the list view. We are not going to allow someone to close the ticket directly from here, close or resolve the ticket directly from the list view. If someone wants to close the ticket, they has to open the form, because on the form we have written multiple steps. Let's say we are trying to resolve the ticket, we will be asking some additional information, right? What is the resolution code, what is your resolution node, right? There are other fields also based on your requirement, right? So we are not going to allow end user or the ITL fulfiller to close the ticket or resolve the ticket from the list view. So that is our requirement. For that, guys, what I have done, I have already written on salaried client script. So let me open it. So this is the one, actually I have already written it. So I have already explained you about this all 5 parameter out of the box parameter. So the logic is very simple, guys. Just we are checking new value equal to 6, new value equal to 7. So 6 or 7 basically it denote that resolved or closed state, right? So if new value equal to 6, here I have put it the or condition. In my previous video and previous example, I have put it the and condition. So based on your logic and the scenario, you have to use your or and condition, right? So here because if anyone is getting true, then we want to execute as a true over here. So in this case, what we are doing, if someone is changing from any state to 6 or 7, basically resolved or closed, then we are going to display this message. That means you are not allowed to edit, you are not allowed to basically move the ticket from resolved or closed state from the list view. And finally, this is the very important one, that save and cancel this object. Basically this is not the object, basically this is the variable, which by default we have given a true, and then here we are assigning as a false. And in the last, here in the callback method, it will either it will be a true or false, right? If it is matches this condition, then save and close variable will be a false, so that on that case we will be not allowing. If it is a true, if this code will not get executed, means by default true, means it will allow to save the changes, right? So let's see guys, let me just reload this list view, and we'll try to um, close the or resolve the ticket from the list view. Let's say this one is the record we are trying to resolve the incident from here. So by default, sorry, here we have selected from option just resolve, and here we are trying to save it. So pop-up message came up, right? You cannot resolve or close ticket from the list. Same message we have displayed over here, right? Hope you got it, the concept that by default we are based on the condition, we are not allowing to resolve or close the ticket from the list view. So make sure if you are not giving it as a false, there is no meaning of just alerting them. It will save the um, record or submit, basically commit the changes, whatever changes you are applying, right? So let's say what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it for this one comment, so that by default save and close would be true. So it, although it will populate the message, but it will save the result, right? So let me just do it, right? So again what I will be doing, I will be reloading the form again, so that our client script will get a code will get execute. And here from here I'm just going to do the result. And although this message is coming, if I'll say, see, by default, okay, so something data policy is written, that is the different issue, that you cannot resolve it, but here resolution code it is there, right? So in this case, basically a data policy inside it is written, but yeah, of course our first step, what it is doing, it is making a call to server, because you know that a data policy works at the server end, not at the client end. So our code will work at the client end, basically. So if we will enable it, we it will not make a call to server. So on that case our data policy was not getting executed. But in this case, because we have this done this, let's say if I'm closing this, then this case also maybe it will give the data policy exception, because at the database level form validation is checking, right? On that case you have to give the close condition. Hope you got it. So let me enable it, so that it will not make a call, and it will update it from here itself. That means you are not allowed to um, move the ticket from any from the list view, right? So if I will do it, let me just double click on this and resolve this. By default it is saying, and the data policy is not getting executed, right? Hope you understood the concept, guys, right? So yeah, that's all 4 types of client script I have discussed in next video, which is going to be a very beneficial for you guys. In this videos I'll be covering the most common used object, predefined object or API, I can say, g underscore form and g underscore user. Glide form, I'll be talking about the glide form. I'll be talking about the this client side API, what we can perform, we can use these many methods, other stuffs we will be covering that in next video is going to be a very useful for you. Thank you, thanks for watching. If you have not liked and subscribed my channel, please do so. Thank you.